Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm right back with ICAD. Why not? I thought of a couple things. I usually do a Buster Keaton one every year. So this is a picture of Buster in front of his studio, which formerly was Charlie Chaplin's studio. And I know this is a pretty crummy picture. That's Buster. Any guess on the other folks? It's if it was a better picture, maybe you could tell. But that's his mother and sister and brother. Okay. Anybody? Incredibly famous actress before she was an actress. That's Mary Pickford when she was Gladys Smith. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's see what we can do. This might be too bold for her. Yeah, I was thinking scrapbook paper might be good for her. It's not as saturated. That's interesting. Can we do something with that? Maybe. Well, this might be too much. That's kind of cool. I don't think it goes with so much. It's a little, kind of like I was saying, too saturated, too bright. Yeah, I don't think so, but we'll keep it. If nothing else, I can use it in that scrappy glue book I started. And I think it's interesting to note, Buster, he got the studio in 1920, and he started making movies in 1917. It's 3 years he got his own studio. Not bad. That's okay. I don't like it that much. We'll see. It may end up in the scrappy glue book too. Well, did anybody watch the last video and say, oh yeah, I can, and run off and do it? What do you think should be under those circles, or should we leave them? Good question. Could you see? That's interesting. I don't think it goes though with the era and the color. Nice try. What would Mary look like with some writing? Oh, that's not bad. Possibly we could paint over that. And generally speaking, it's not a great idea to have two projects going at once. but that's what I'm doing today. Should really work on one at a time. Did you know Mary, actually, she directed, produced. She was one of the co-founders of United Artists. Isn't that pretty? Well, that was out in California. No, you can't really tell what that is. Okay, let's see what this would look like, because, like I said, it's California. And Buster's Italian villa that wouldn't come for 6 years later, it didn't really look like that, but it was kind of a cross between Spanish and Italian. I think it had a tiled roof. That's still standing. Last I knew, anyway. It better be. That's kind of cool. Okay. Mary, Mary. That would be kind of neat if it was lit. That's too shaded, too dark, I think. Yeah. Could you reshoot that for me and hit a light on there? But yeah, a black and white something would be nice. For obvious reasons. Well, these are black and white. They're too short though. Let's see. Actually, it's a little yellowed and white. This is an older AD. What was it? If someone's really interested. March 97. What were you doing in March of 1997? If you lived where I do, you'd probably be cursing the weather. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I can pause and glue. This one's a tad short. I think I'm going to ignore that and we'll fill in with paint. Or you know what? I take it back. I think I'll fill in with a little text stuff too, like hers. Okay, come back just a minute. Okay, folks, we're glued. Mary is not glued down because, as you can see, there's a gap here unless I come over. I don't want to. Do you know why? Can you tell why? You could. You can compensate for this. But she's looking here. So now she is drawing your attention over here, and there's all this space on the other side. So I want her more here on the right. So we could paint, we could washi, we could paper, we could fabric. There's all kinds of options to fill that in. The fabric crossed my mind, just texturally speaking. That's kind of cute. It's sheer. does that matter? Because you're still kind of seeing the white. Let's take a strip of it. Let's see. And it doesn't necessarily have to go top to bottom, but it could. No, actually, that's pretty. You know, it's kind of sweet with a little girl image. Okay, top to bottom. I did think of sewing all the way around her with white, I think. And then she could probably use some flowers down in there. Little paint on the edges, maybe. But I have to sew off camera, so she can wait. Here's Buster and his family. Okay, I don't like the way this turned out because you can't see a whole line of writing text, so it looks stupid for lack of a better explanation. It's kind of distracting. So I think I'm going to slop paint over that. I'm also not loving this edge. One, it's crooked. But, I don't know. It's just such a blunt, nothing edge. I should have, this tan under there was torn. I should have put it over. So I can do that. Or we can paint on that too. So I think what I'll do, if I'm going to paint here anyway, I'll do that and then take that edge from there. This is sort of a dumb divider, like, that needs stitching or a washi or something, I would say. This is okay. Is it trimmed? Yeah, it's trimmed. I might put black on the edge. That's all right. I don't know if you could tell the house picture. You can see the edge of it here. We still have this. It crossed my mind to circle Buster, but I think, I don't know, I think it's a little too, I don't know how to describe it, too something. Whoops, that's fabric scissors. I think with a square is too much. If we trim it to a circle, and actually the way this is torn, doesn't this sort of look like a speech bubble, I thought? Although Buster doesn't have his mouth open, he's not saying anything there. Do you know Buster's family's names? I doubt it. His mother was Myra. His sister was Louise, and she was named after Louise Dress. I always forget if it's Dresser or Dressler. I think it's Dressler. She's an actress. And his brother was called Jingles as a nickname, but his real name was Harry. That's okay. I don't know. It looks like you're identifying somebody, well, you are. But that's okay. I could live with that. Well, what if we did something with this one then? And Buster was quite a bit older than his siblings, and he took care of them quite a bit while his family was, they toured and performed in vaudeville. Actually, that Louise Dressler, I think is her name. They did an episode of This Is Your Life with Buster Keaton. She's on there. She's in Rudolph Valentino's movie The Eagle. She's in that. Well, it's okay, but you know what? It's kind of schlocky. So if I want to do that, why don't we paint stamp a circle? Okay. Okay. Let's paint these edges. What color are you going to do, Diane? Oh, I don't know, because black is fine, but I think it might be a little much. I was sort of thinking of this gold color of the house there in this circle. Let's do this edge. All right. Personally, I think that's better. If you want, you could certainly, maybe we'll add a stripe of color or something here. We'll see. Okay. Well, I don't really have that gold. I would have to mix it. Should we try the old mixing on the project, which I don't recommend? Sorry, am I way over on the left? You can't see. Okay. Well, that's fine, but it didn't cover up the text. You're missing the point. All right, paint. Um, I'm not going to bore you by doing this. I'll go over it a couple times. If it doesn't want to cover, I may go over it with like a white and then go over again. Okay. Well, I think we really need something there. Um, you could, like I said, do fabric, paper, paint, magazine, scrapbook, ribbon, washi. Although I might not do a transparent washi. Those colors are nice, but I don't think the flowers match the subject. See anything? Just shout really loud so I can hear you. Well, in all this mishmash, there's nothing. No. I know. Duh. What about like a film strip? Took her long enough to think of that. As a matter of fact, I have a paper right here. Isn't this cool? I just bought this. Obviously for this side. Let's find something narrow. Sorry, I was interrupted there. I'm cutting a scrapbook paper strip of film here. That's good. I guess we don't need that anymore. Okay, it's a little wide. What if we split it? Or I could go down to the sprocket hole things. I still don't know what you call those. If anybody knows, tell me. And we could split it this way. That's kind of cool. Okay, what about this thing? It's okay. I'm just, as you could tell, I'm not sold on it. You can do it on yours. Go ahead. Let's glue these. And then I think we need a little paint over here, possibly in the form of, like I said, a circle, which I didn't bring up my spool things. But maybe we could have a lid or something here we could use. A cap, a glue cap. We'll see. Paint cap might work too. All right, is that straight-ish? I think so. All right, what color? This yellowy, orangey color. You could do white. Name Mary Pickford's siblings' names. She had a brother and a sister. She was the oldest. Buster was the oldest too. Um, Jack was her brother, and Lottie, which I'm assuming is short for Charlotte, is her sister. If not, forgive me. That's good. Could be a little lighter. Both Jack and Lottie were in movies too. Buster's siblings were not. Well, I take it back. They made a talkie short couple in the 30s that they were all in. And Louise was a stunt double at least once in one of Buster's movies. Okay, that's pretty good. That edge to me is a little lacking. Do we need another paper, or could just paint it darker? Maybe a paper. Stay. Actually, Buster's father, who's not pictured, he was in quite a lot of Buster's movies. A small part. It's better. I don't really like that. Let's try that. All right, I think that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna glue that down. I'll sew on Mary's card there. Yeah, it's a little lacking here. I might take a stitch there. But anyway, this video is getting long enough. I'm gonna finish these off and then we'll come back for show and tell. Hang on. Okay, ICAD lovers, we're all finished. I just did stitching here and here. That's all I did differently on this one. That's nice. It's fine. And Mary is quite different. I did add flowers. I did sew her down. This area, you know, there's nothing. It needs a word, it needs something. Well, it crossed my mind. There's a publicity photo of her from the teens or 20s. She's holding a rabbit. So I have rabbit scrapbook paper. And it does say spring is in the air. which is not really what I'm trying to convey, but you know, flowers, Easter bonnet looking hat, short sleeves, so I think that's fine. And then I wanted something over here. We wound up with ribbon. Then it was a little lacking here, so we put some down there. I did put a little white over the text. I thought it was a little, but that was before all this other stuff was on it, so that may have been unnecessary. I'm not sure. Okay, cute. And I was wrong. It's Louise Dresser. No L. So my apologies to Louise. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a nice day out there.